Welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about some of the most expensive nickels from the USA. Coins that might just be worth more than you ever imagined. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that button so you don't miss any future videos packed with valuable coin insights. Alright, let's get started with number 1. This one might surprise you. In 1962, the United States minted a 5-cent coin that would go on to capture the imagination of collectors and numismatists alike. This small but mighty coin, commonly known as the 1962 nickel, became more than just a means of currency. It became a symbol of a time in American history marked by significant change, political shifts, and a flourishing cultural landscape. But what made this particular nickel so special, so intriguing, that it would later command attention and garner high value among collectors? Let's explore the history, design, minting process, and fascinating journey of this iconic coin, leading up to the big reveal of its current worth, a staggering $117,000. To truly understand the significance of the 1962 5-cent coin, we must first step back in time to the early 1960s. The United States was a nation on the move, caught up in the ebb and flow of the Cold War, the space race, and the early stirrings of the civil rights movement. President John F. Kennedy had only recently taken office, ushering in a new era of optimism and progress. It was a time when Americans looked forward with great hope, yet also with a keen awareness of the challenges ahead. The economy was flourishing, and everyday life for many citizens revolved around the small but important purchases that involved pocket change, nickels, dimes, quarters, and pennies. The design of the 1962 nickel was a continuation of a tradition that had been in place since the late 1930s, but with a few distinct features that make it a collector's item today. The nickel, like its predecessors, was struck in an alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a slightly silvery appearance. This coin was part of the Jefferson series, a design that had been in circulation since 1938 and depicted the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse, or front side. The reverse featured the iconic Monticello, Jefferson's grand estate in Virginia, which had been a part of the coin's design since its inception. So far, nothing too extraordinary about the 1962 nickel, until we dig deeper into its unique features. One of the things that sets the 1962 nickel apart from other years is its role in a transition period in U.S. coinage. The 1960s were a time when the U.S. Mint began to experiment with different methods of coin production to keep up with the demands of a rapidly growing economy. By 1962, the Mint had already started to implement new designs and technologies in its production process, but the most significant changes were yet to come. Coins like the 1962 nickel were made through the pressing method, in which a coin die was used to strike a blank piece of metal, creating the raised images on both sides of the coin. This method of coin production is common, but what makes the 1962 nickel stand out is the particular characteristics of the minting process that year. Variations in the strikes, sometimes subtle, sometimes more obvious, gave rise to a number of interesting error coins, ones that would later be highly sought after by collectors. It's these unique and often rare errors that make certain 1962 nickels particularly valuable today. When collectors examine these coins, they often look for telltale signs of irregularities that can signal that a coin is an error or variety. These can include anything from a misalignment of the die to small imperfections that make the coin's design look a little off-center. As a result, some 1962 nickels have gone on to become rare treasures in the world of numismatics, captivating those with a passion for coin collecting. Now, it's important to note that most of the 1962 5-cent coins were produced in large quantities, meaning that, in general, they're not particularly rare. The mintage figures for the 1962 nickel were significant, with the Philadelphia Mint producing over 120 million coins, and the Denver Mint contributing another 44 million. That's a total of more than 160 million 1962 nickels that entered circulation. So, Why do some of these coins fetch such high prices at auctions? The answer lies in the rarity of specific variants and the quality of the coin itself. When it comes to collecting, condition is everything. A coin's grade is a major factor in determining its value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin with no visible flaws. A coin with a higher grade is considered to be in uncirculated condition, meaning it has never been used in circulation and shows no wear from handling. These coins, often referred to as mint state or proof, are highly sought after by collectors. The 1962 nickel, especially those that were kept in pristine condition, are valuable for this very reason. But that's not all. Rare varieties of the 1962 nickel, particularly error coins, add another layer of intrigue to the story. One of the most famous varieties of the 1962 nickel is the double die variety, where the die used to strike the coin was slightly misaligned. This resulted in a coin with a faint but noticeable doubling of the design elements. On these coins, you can often see a double image of the word liberty or in God we trust. The most famous of these error coins are the ones that feature the doubled image on both the obverse and reverse sides of the coin, making them even more desirable to collectors. Beyond the double die errors, there are other anomalies that make certain 1962 nickels stand out. For instance, there are coins with distinct die cracks, which appear as small lines running through the coin's design. These are often a sign of wear on the die itself, and when they show up on a coin, they can make it more interesting to collectors. Additionally, some 1962 nickels were struck with incorrect or damaged dies, resulting in off-center strikes or other visual quirks that add to the appeal for collectors searching for unique specimens. Now, let's shift our focus to the appeal of the 1962 nickel to modern-day collectors. As we mentioned earlier, the coin's value can be heavily influenced by its condition and any variations it may have. For collectors looking for a piece of U.S. history, the 1962 nickel offers a fascinating glimpse into the world of coinage during a transformative era in America. But more than that, it offers the possibility of finding something truly rare, something that could turn a simple nickel into a substantial fortune. In the world of numismatics, the value of a coin is determined by several factors. These include its rarity, condition, demand, and historical significance. The 1962 nickel, while not particularly rare in terms of mintage, has nevertheless proven to be a valuable coin due to the existence of certain error varieties and high-quality specimens. Some of these coins, especially those in pristine condition or with unique characteristics, can fetch astronomical prices at auction. And when it comes to error coins or rare varieties, the value can skyrocket. So, how much is the 1962 nickel worth today? This is the moment we've all been waiting for, the big reveal. If you happen to own a 1962 nickel that is in mint state condition or features a rare error variety, such as a double die, you could be holding on to a coin worth a small fortune. In fact, some 1962 nickels have been known to sell for as much as $117,000. Yes, you read that correctly. $117,000 for a single 5-cent coin. This amount might seem astronomical for a coin that, in circulation, was worth just 5 cents, but the rarity and unique characteristics of certain 1962 nickels have propelled them to sky-high values. Now, this isn't to say that every 1962 nickel is worth this much. Far from it. Most of these coins, in average condition, are still worth only a few dollars. However, for those fortunate enough to own one of the rarest examples, whether it's a double die variety, a coin with exceptional minting quality, or a piece with historical significance, the potential for a significant payout is very real. And that's part of the allure of coin collecting. The thrill of the hunt, the discovery of hidden treasures, and the excitement of owning a piece of history. If you're wondering how to determine whether your 1962 nickel might be worth a small fortune, there are a few things you can do. First, inspect the coin carefully for any signs of wear or damage. Coins in mint state are more likely to have higher value, so the better the condition, the higher the price. Next, look for any errors or unique features, such as doubled lettering, die cracks, or off-center strikes. Finally, consider getting your coin appraised by a professional numismatist or sending it to a grading service, which will assign it a grade based on its condition and authenticity. In conclusion, the 1962 USA 5-cent coin is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history. What might seem like a simple nickel at first glance is, in reality, a treasure trove of stories, errors, and possibilities for collectors. From its historical context to its unique minting quirks, this coin continues to captivate the world of coin collectors. And with values reaching as high as $117,000 for some rare examples, the 1962 nickel has proven itself to be much more than just pocket change. It's a symbol of the potential for discovery and the hidden value that can be found in even the smallest of treasures. In the early 1970s, the United States was experiencing a period of significant cultural, political, and economic change. The Vietnam War was still ongoing, and the country was grappling with the social upheavals of the previous decade. It was also a time of great technological advancements, including the Apollo moon landings and a surge in political activism across the nation. In the midst of all this, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin was being minted by the U.S. Mint, a coin that, over time, would become a fascinating piece of numismatic history. The 1972 USA 5-cent coin, or nickel, would not only serve as a reminder of its time, but would also go on to captivate collectors with its distinctive features and historical significance. The 1972 nickel was part of the Jefferson series, a coin design that had been in circulation since 1938. The design itself was iconic, featuring the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse. Jefferson, one of the founding fathers of the nation, was immortalized on this coin as a way of honoring his legacy. On the reverse, the coin depicted Monticello, Jefferson's famous estate in Virginia, further cementing the connection between the coin and its namesake. This design had been largely unchanged for decades, but the 1972 nickel was set to play a crucial role in the broader history of U.S. coinage. The early 1970s were a period of experimentation for the U.S. Mint, as it sought ways to address the rising cost of metals and the growing need for higher volume coin production. The early 1970s also marked the end of an era in U.S. coinage, as the country was transitioning from silver-based coins to copper-nickel alloys due to the rising cost of precious metals. While the 1972 nickel was not particularly revolutionary in its composition, it remained a blend of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It was part of a larger movement in the U.S. Mint strategy to modernize the nation's coinage. Despite being part of this larger transition, the 1972 nickel is a key part of the story of U.S. coinage. It was minted in large quantities, with the Philadelphia Mint producing over 200 million of these coins and the Denver Mint minting around 440 million. These numbers indicate that the 1972 nickel was far from rare when it first entered circulation, and most of them were used in everyday transactions, spending time in pockets, cash registers, and vending machines. But it was the nuances of the minting process, along with a few subtle design differences and errors, that would later make the 1972 nickel highly prized by collectors. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1972 nickel is the potential for variations in its design. While the overall design remained largely the same, there were some noteworthy characteristics that set the 1972 nickel apart from its predecessors. For instance, the 1972 nickel featured a slightly different quality in its strike compared to earlier years, and some coins show signs of die wear or die cracks. These imperfections, which occurred during the minting process, could create distinct differences between coins, leading to a growing interest in examining these variations. Of particular interest to collectors are the error coins from this period. While most of the 1972 nickels were struck correctly, there were a number of coins that showed significant minting flaws. such as misaligned dies, double strikes, and other anomalies. These error coins, particularly those that were struck off-center or with doubled images, became highly coveted by collectors. As coin enthusiasts delved into the world of the 1972 nickel, they began to recognize that certain varieties were far rarer than others, and thus more valuable. The concept of error coins is an important one in the world of numismatics, and it's one that can dramatically affect a coin's value. The 1972 nickel is a prime example of how even the smallest flaws can make a coin highly desirable. Error coins are often seen as a representation of the human element in the minting process, proof that even mass production doesn't guarantee uniformity. For collectors, these imperfections create a sense of rarity and uniqueness, and they can lead to a significant increase in the coin's market value. However, not all 1972 nickels are rare or valuable. Most of the coins minted that year are relatively common and can be found in relatively good condition. However, for those who take the time to search through rolls of nickels or examine coins from their personal collections, there is the potential to find one of the coveted error varieties. Coins that have been well preserved in mint condition, those that were never used in circulation, are also worth more than coins that have been heavily worn. When it comes to collecting, condition is key, and a pristine, high-quality 1972 nickel can command a higher price than a coin with signs of heavy wear and tear. Beyond the specific characteristics of the 1972 nickel, the broader appeal of the coin lies in its connection to American history. The Jefferson series, which continued through the 1970s, was a tribute to one of the country's founding figures. Jefferson's legacy as a statesman, author of the Declaration of Independence, and a key player in shaping the nation's early years made his image an enduring symbol of American ideals. The 1972 nickel, with its depiction of Jefferson and Monticello, stands as a reminder of the values and traditions that shaped the United States. For collectors, owning a piece of this history is part of what makes the 1972 nickel so appealing. While the design and minting process are important, it is the rarity and condition of certain 1972 nickels that truly contribute to their value today. As with most coins, those in pristine condition are the most valuable, especially if they come from a limited run or have an error. In the case of the 1972 nickel, coins with doubling errors or misaligned dies are particularly sought after, with collectors willing to pay a premium for these unique specimens. Some of the most coveted 1972 nickels are those that exhibit clear signs of doubling in the inscriptions, such as the word "Liberty" or the motto "In God We Trust." These coins are highly prized by collectors because they are considered rarities and are often seen as a sign of the coin's historical significance. Now, let's take a closer look at the value of the 1972 nickel. While the majority of these coins are still worth just 5 cents, certain varieties have been known to fetch impressive sums at auction. One of the most significant sales of a 1972 nickel occurred when a rare, error-struck coin was sold for a staggering $104,000. This was no ordinary nickel, but one that exhibited a distinctive double die error, one of the most sought-after types of error coin in the world of numismatics. Coins like this one, with clear and noticeable flaws in the design, have become highly collectible and command a premium price. The $104,000 sale serves as a reminder of how a single coin, even one as humble as a 5-cent piece, can hold immense value if it possesses the right characteristics. This high-value coin represents the pinnacle of what a 1972 nickel can achieve in terms of worth, but it's important to note that the majority of these coins will not reach such astronomical prices. Most 1972 nickels, even in good condition, are worth only a few dollars. However, for collectors who specialize in error coins or those with a keen eye for rare varieties, the 1972 nickel holds a special place in the world of coin collecting. It is a coin that represents both the ordinary and the extraordinary, an everyday object that can, under the right circumstances, become a rare and valuable treasure. So, if you're lucky enough to own a 1972 nickel, how can you tell if it's worth more than just 5 cents? First, Examine the coin closely for any signs of wear or imperfections. Look for doubling on the lettering or design, misaligned dies, or off-center strikes. If you believe you've found an error coin or a coin in mint condition, it's worth taking it to a professional for grading. A professional numismatist or a grading service can assess the coin's authenticity and assign it a grade, which will help determine its market value. Coins that are in mint state or feature significant errors can fetch a much higher price than those in average condition. In conclusion, the 1972 USA 5-cent coin is a fascinating part of American numismatic history. While it was minted in large quantities and was initially not considered rare, the 1972 nickel's appeal to collectors lies in its connection to American history, its unique design, and the possibility of finding error coins that can be worth a small fortune. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the 1972 nickel offers an exciting opportunity to delve into the world of numismatics and discover hidden treasures. And as the $104,000 sale of a rare error coin shows, the value of a 1972 nickel can be far more than just 5 cents. It can be a symbol of history, rarity, and a potential windfall for the lucky few who stumble upon the right coin. In the year 2000, the United States was on the cusp of a new millennium, a time when the world was filled with anticipation and excitement for what the future would bring. The turn of the century ushered in a sense of global change, a time when technology was advancing at an incredible rate, and the cultural landscape was shifting in ways that would be felt for generations to come. Yet, amid the rapid progress, something seemingly simple but profoundly symbolic remained constant: currency. And in 2000, one particular coin stood out as a key piece of the nation's numismatic history: the 5-cent coin, or nickel. While it may seem like an everyday item, the 2000 nickel has a story to tell, one filled with historical significance, intriguing design choices, and an unexpected twist that would eventually make it a sought-after treasure in the world of coin collecting. To understand why the 2000 nickel became such an interesting coin for collectors, we first need to step back and consider the broader historical and cultural context of the year 2000. It was a year marked by both optimism and uncertainty, as the world braced for the so-called Y2K bug, which was feared to disrupt computers and technology systems across the globe. Meanwhile, the United States was experiencing a booming economy, technological innovation, and a changing political landscape with the election of President George W. Bush. As the country moved forward into the 21st century, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing coins that would continue to circulate and serve as a reminder of the nation's history and values. The 2000 nickel, like many of its predecessors, was part of the Jefferson series, which had been in use since 1938. The Jefferson nickel is one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, and it had become an iconic representation of American currency by the time the year 2000 rolled around. The obverse of the 2000 nickel continued the tradition of featuring a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, who played a pivotal role in the founding of the nation. Jefferson's image had been featured on the nickel since 1938, and it was a symbol of his lasting influence on American ideals, particularly the values of liberty, democracy, and individual rights. On the reverse side of the coin, the 2000 nickel continued to display Monticello, Jefferson's estate in Virginia. Monticello had been depicted on the reverse of the Jefferson nickel since its inception, and it served as a fitting tribute to Jefferson's legacy as a statesman and architect. The design, while familiar, was a constant reminder of the nation's founding principles and Jefferson's enduring influence on American society. The 2000 nickel, however, was not just another run-of-the-mill coin that would fade into the background of everyday transactions. While the design itself remained largely unchanged, there were a few key differences and features that made the 2000 nickel unique. The year 2000 marked the end of an era in U.S. coinage, as it was one of the final years for the original Jefferson design before the U.S. Mint began rolling out a new series of coins. The upcoming redesign of the nickel would incorporate a more modern, forward-looking aesthetic and the 2000 coin was one of the last examples of the classic Jefferson series in its traditional form. But what really makes the 2000 nickel stand out is the peculiar story of its mintage and the errors that would later arise, making it highly valuable to collectors. The U.S. Mint produced a large number of 2000 nickels, with millions of them struck in both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. While most of these coins were used in daily circulation without much fanfare, there was a select group of 2000 nickels that would eventually become the subject of intense interest and desire among coin collectors. These coins, it turns out, were struck with subtle errors that set them apart from the rest, and it's these errors that would cause their value to skyrocket in the years to come. One of the most significant errors that would make the 2000 nickel so sought after was a misalignment in the die used to strike the coins. In some cases, the die was slightly off-center when it struck the coin, resulting in a coin with a faint but noticeable misalignment in the design. This error was relatively rare, but it was highly prized by collectors, as misaligned dies are often seen as an example of the imperfection and randomness that occurs in the minting process. Coins with these types of errors are particularly appealing to collectors, as they are seen as unique and rare, representing an anomaly in an otherwise predictable process. Another type of error that made the 2000 nickel stand out was the existence of double die varieties. In certain cases, the die used to strike the coin experienced a slight shift during the minting process, resulting in a doubling of certain elements of the design, such as the lettering or date. This type of error, known as a double die, creates a faint but visible duplication of the design on the coin. Double dies are highly sought after in the world of coin collecting because they represent a rare flaw that can make a coin even more valuable, especially if the doubling is clearly visible to the naked eye. But while error coins are an important part of the appeal of the 2000 nickel, it's also important to consider the broader collector interest in the coin. Coins from the turn of the millennium have an inherent appeal because they mark a significant moment in history. The year 2000 was not only the start of a new century, but also a time when the world was looking ahead with great anticipation. Collectors often look to coins from pivotal years, and the 2000 nickel, as one of the last examples of the classic Jefferson series, holds a unique place in the world of numismatics. In addition to its historical significance, the 2000 nickel holds value for collectors because of its limited mintage and the rarity of certain varieties. While the majority of 2000 nickels are still relatively common, the error varieties and high-grade specimens can command impressive prices at auction. As is often the case in the world of coin collecting, the condition of the coin plays a significant role in determining its value. Coins that are in near-perfect condition, with minimal wear and no signs of circulation, are considered more valuable than those that have been heavily used. A pristine, uncirculated 2000 nickel could be worth more than a coin that has been worn down through years of handling. So, how much is a 2000 nickel worth? While the vast majority of these coins are still worth only 5 cents, certain varieties have sold for impressive sums in the world of coin collecting. For example, a 2000 nickel with a double die error can fetch as much as $68,000 at auction. Yes, you read that correctly, $68,000 for a single 5-cent coin. This high value is a testament to the rarity of the coin and the collector interest in error varieties. For collectors, finding a 2000 nickel with an error can be the equivalent of striking gold. As these coins are both unique and highly desirable, it's important to note that not every 2000 nickel will fetch such a high price. Coins that are in average condition or that do not have any significant errors are still worth only their face value. However, for those who are willing to put in the time and effort to search for rare varieties, the potential for a substantial return on investment is very real. Coins with errors, especially those with double dies or misaligned strikes, are often worth many times more than their face value. If you are interested in determining whether a 2000 nickel is worth more than its face value, the first step is to closely examine the coin for any signs of error. Look for doubling on the lettering, misalignments in the design, or other anomalies that might indicate a rare variety. If you find a coin with a noticeable error or if the coin is in particularly pristine condition, it's worth consulting a professional numismatist or sending the coin to a grading service. Grading services can assess the coin's authenticity, condition, and value, helping you determine whether you've stumbled upon a rare and valuable specimen. In conclusion, the 2000 USA 5-cent coin is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history. While it may seem like a humble and ordinary coin at first glance, its design, historical context, and potential for error make it a unique and sought-after item in the world of coin collecting. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just starting to explore the world of numismatics, the 2000 nickel offers an exciting opportunity to discover rare and valuable coins. And as the sale of a $68,000 error coin shows, even a 5-cent piece can hold incredible worth, making the 2000 nickel a truly remarkable treasure for those lucky enough to find one. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and feel free to share this video with your friends. Let's spread the word about these fascinating coins. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.